A father condoned his daughter's cheating. Aaron Carson is an account manager for Ajax Entry Systems, Inc. They sell electronic entry systems. Think back to when you're in hotels and you bring a key card to the lock instead of swiping a card. He is on the road every day and spends 1 or 2 nights a week out of town. His wife, Karen, is a stay-at-home mom. They have 2 small children, ages 2 and 4, named Jimmy and Joey. They have been married for 5 years and met in college. Aaron is a typical Irishman with black as tar hair, brown eyes, and keeps in pretty good shape. Karen is above average looking, has short blonde hair, blue eyes, and is of Eastern European descent. She keeps herself in relatively good shape, but is self-conscious about her stretch marks and her C-section scar. Aaron doesn't care and calls them battle scars when she gets too upset about them. Life is good at the Carson home, which is a suburban 2-story house with 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and a full basement. When Karen's father comes to visit from the East Coast, he uses the guest room and usually stays for a week. Karen's dad divorced her mom 5 years ago, and no one knows the whole story. Karen suspected her dad was cheating and wanted to leave, but her parents wouldn't talk about it and were quick to quash all inquiries. Aaron was returning home after one of his overnight stays on the road. At the last minute, he changed his plans and drove home instead of staying the night. It was only 8 o'clock, and he could have gotten home around 10. He pulled into his driveway as a man was pulling out of there. The man looked scared as he sped away. Aaron saw the man come out of his house. He shook his head and got angry. As he walked through the door, he calmed down and shouted, "Honey, I'm home!" Karen came down in her robe, fresh out of the shower, and said, "Hi, baby. I wasn't expecting you before tomorrow." She kissed him gently, and Aaron could smell the toothpaste on her lips. "Honey, who was that man who just left?" "What do you mean, Aaron? No one was here and Daddy's in the basement," she said without enthusiasm. "Well, someone was definitely here and leaving when I pulled up." Hearing Aaron come home, Karen's father, Jack, went upstairs. "Hi, Aaron. Good to see you, son." "Hey, Jack. Who was that guy who just left?" Jack got very nervous and looked at his daughter while she looked at him expectantly. "I didn't know anyone was here. I was in the basement all night watching a movie and drinking your scotch. So let me get this straight. You're both home, no one knows the man who left, and I find Karen fresh out of the shower. Can either of you convince me that Karen didn't have a man?" Now Aaron was starting to get angry. Is Karen really cheating on him? Does her father know about it? Jack said, "Aaron, she's not cheating on you, I swear." "How do you know that, Jack? You didn't know anyone was in here. The basement's pretty soundproof, especially in relation to the bedroom. She could make love to this guy, and no one but the kids would hear." Karen cried and tried to justify herself. "Daddy, tell him, please. I can't let him think I cheated on him. Please, Aaron, I'm not having an affair, I swear." Now hysterical, she looked back at her father, who collapsed in his chair. "Aaron, this guy was here for me. He's the chaperone I hire when I'm in town." Aaron yelled, "Bullshit! Baby, it's true. That's why he and Mom broke up." "It's true, Aaron, I'm a different orientation." Aaron sat down on a nearby couch in shock. As he tried to make sense of his father-in-law's confession, he thought about what he knew. It would make sense of her parents' divorce. Could this be a long-standing family secret? Karen obviously knew, but why hadn't she told him? "Aaron, honey, say something, please. I would never cheat on you, you know that." Aaron looked at her and thought that he didn't really know that, but how could he prove it? He thought about the fresh shower. He thought about her hiding something from him, and then a light bulb flashed above his head. "Okay, call him back." "What?" Jack and Karen said at the same time. "Get him here," Aaron repeated. "If he came to see Jack, Jack has his number. Call him." She seemed startled as she and Jack looked at each other with confused eyes. "She's inviting him over for me, son." Aaron started laughing. "Of course she is. Get him in here, right now," he said with an angry growl. "What for, honey? What and how can it help?" she asked through her tears. Aaron smiled without telling them his whole plan and said, I want him to corroborate your story." She relented and went to get her phone. By the time she got downstairs, she was already on the phone. "Aaron, yeah, we need you to come back to confirm that you were here for my dad, not me." Aaron shook his head, realizing that if he was her lover, she had just prepared his answer. It didn't matter, though. It would be clear soon. "He'll be here in 10 minutes. "That's fast," Aaron replied. "Does he live close?" She looked at him with her red, puffy eyes and said, "I don't know where he lives." "Good." Karen looked awful, and Jack looked like someone had died. Aaron laughed inwardly as he walked to the basement bar to get a drink. He only saw one glass when he went behind the oak bar to get his scotch. He had a beautiful bar filled with many bottles of good scotch, his favorite. He saw that Jack had been drinking Glenfiddich for 15 years and poured himself one. He heard the doorbell ring and went back upstairs. Looking into the living room from the kitchen, he saw his wife talking to the attendant, but Jack was silent. Aaron entered the room and said, "Hi, I'm Aaron. Sorry to drag you here, but I needed to know which of these two is your client." The attendant smirked and said, "I'm Chris, and I was hired for Jack." Aaron smiled at his wife, looked back at Chris and asked, "How much do you charge?" Chris thought for a moment and said confidently, $400 for a house call." "What's $400 for?" "Sex? Licking?" "All of it," Chris replied. "Honey, are we okay now?" Karen asked. "Sure, baby," Aaron said, pulling out his wallet. "Chris, how much does sex by itself cost?" "What?" Karen shrieked. "Do you want him to do it with you?" "No, honey," Aaron smirked. "I want him to do it to your father, to make up for all the confusion and my lack of understanding." Chris stood silent, and Jack looked like a deer in headlights when Karen said, "There's no need for that, love. It's all right. We'll just let Chris go his way, and you can come upstairs to me." "Don't be silly, it's no problem. Here you go, Chris, $200. Chris was just stunned, and Jack was stuttering like an idiot. "Here, I'll give you $300 if the missus and I can watch. I've never seen live sex that I haven't participated in myself." "I'm not going to watch my father do it. You're being an ass." "Karen, if he doesn't do it with Jomu right now, I'm going to kick his ass and your father's ass for lying to me." "What would that be?" Jack said shyly. "It's okay, honey. It has to be done." Chris turned his head and looked at Jack so fast that Aaron thought he was dizzy. Jack walked over and snatched the scotch out of Aaron's hands and drank it in one gulp. He looked at Chris and said, "Do it." Chris knelt down, swallowed, and watched Jack unzip his zipper. At that moment, he lost his composure and fell over, still on his knees. "You caught us. I made love to your wife, but it was only once." Karen screamed, "No!" as Aaron walked over to Chris, smiled, and kicked him hard in the crotch. Chris screamed in pain as he fell to the floor. Jack ran to the basement and slammed the door shut in fright at what was coming at him. After all, he had condoned his daughter's infidelity and was trying to take the blame. It was as if they had a premeditated plan in case they were caught, Aaron thought. Karen cried and pleaded, "Aaron, it's a mistake. It was just sex. It's my weakness. It's over." Aaron looked at her with contempt and said, "Pack your things and get out of here with your father now. I don't care where you go, but I want you gone. I'll think about what's going to happen to us." She left in tears, while Aaron noticed Chris sneaking towards the door. "Where are you going, asshole? I'm not done with you yet." Chris got a kick in the ass and ran to the door. He was able to jump out and get into his car before Aaron got to him. Aaron wasn't really trying to catch him. He didn't want to go to jail. Karen came down the stairs and Jack came up from the basement. She was crying and begging, "Aaron, please, let's put this behind us. I don't want our family to fall apart because of my stupidity." "You should have thought about family earlier, you dumbass," Aaron shouted. After they left, Aaron went downstairs and filled his glass with golden yellow goodness again. He looked at the text message he had gotten earlier that night and dialed the number. "Hey, Aaron, what's up? I got home too late, just as this guy was leaving when I got back. You didn't catch them red-handed?" "No, but I got him to confess." "What?" "Yeah, it's a long story, but you'll enjoy it. You'll be pleased to hear about my excellent acting skills. Thank you for the heads up, Carrie." "You're welcome." "When I heard her talking to him and making plans, I should have let you know. You know I never liked that fool, and I hated her even more for taking you away from me. Well, you're the one who left me." "Yeah, I was too young and scared to get involved. It was my biggest mistake to run away from you. I never stopped loving you. We can settle this later. I need some rest. Good night." "Good night, Aaron. Stay in touch." Aaron smiled, remembering the call from his ex-girlfriend that night telling him he had to come home because his wife had invited her coach. Karen hadn't realized that she and Chris were talking quite loudly at their table at the health club's cocktail bar, and she certainly didn't know that the pretty red-headed girl sitting behind her was Aaron's ex-girlfriend who was regretting breaking up with him. Turning off, Carrie mentally prayed that Aaron would divorce this cheating woman, and she would get a second chance. 5 days after being caught cheating on her husband, Karen was walking down a long hallway in the emergency room wing of St. Alexander Hospital looking for room 7A. She took a deep breath and walked in. "Hi, Daddy." "Hi, Karen. Any news?" "Yeah, but first tell me about yourself." "Well, they don't think I'll have any permanent damage to my testicles, thank goodness, and now I'm just waiting for my arm to be x-rayed before they put a cast on it." "Are you in a lot of pain?" Karen asked, suddenly feeling guilty. "It doesn't now. They put me on something, but it used to hurt like hell." "Are you going to call the police, Dad?" "They were already here. They got a call from the hospital when I told them what happened." "So they're arresting Aaron?" "God, no, I would never take him away from the boys. I told them I got jumped by a black guy who wanted my wallet. Anyway, it's my fault. I should have knocked some sense into you when you initiated me into your little plan. Thanks for not giving it away. I'm really sorry, Dad. I just bought your bullshit about not knowing what doesn't hurt." "I didn't say—" "Oh, shut up, Dad. It was bullshit. I just couldn't see it. I thought my plan was solid with you there as backup in case someone told Aaron about Chris coming and going. I thought I was so damn smart. But he's actually the one who's so damn smart. It was a good plan, but I shouldn't have agreed to it. I should have talked you out of it, and I regret it. Now we're paying the price. God, all I wanted was one time with this perfect specimen of a man, and it wasn't worth it." "So, what did Aaron say?" "He's going to let me come home later and talk to him. He's cooled off now, at least with me. I haven't been served with divorce papers yet, but I know he's met with an attorney. The lawyer probably didn't make him happy. The kids are small, and it's a lot of support and child support that he has to pay for a long time. All I can hope for is a chance. I can't lose him, Dad. I know it's stupid to say that after what I've done, but I just can't. I love him so much," she said, bursting into tears. Aaron walked over to the Starbucks and looked out the window. He saw his ex-girlfriend Carrie sitting there waiting for him. He walked in, ordered a coffee, and sat across from her. "Hi, Aaron," she said with a wide smile. "Hi, Carrie. How was the meeting with the lawyer?" "Hard. Even the fact that she made love to him in a house with kids doesn't matter. 50-50 split. I'm stuck with mortgage payments, child support, alimony for her. It's crazy. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm not even sure if I want a divorce. I know I'm going to miss the kids a lot." "What about revenge?" "I already told you your ship has sailed. I appreciate you helping me, but coming back to you after you broke my heart wouldn't have helped." "I'm sorry, Aaron. I was hoping for one more chance, but I understand. Keep in mind, though, that I'm willing to take revenge unconditionally. We could even do it in front of her if you're going to stay with her." Laughing, Aaron said, "I'll keep that in mind. This idea isn't hopeless." She smiled and asked, What's your plan now? I'll meet her later. Right now, she's in the hospital. It looks like her dad got kicked in the balls and thrown down some stairs. Jesus, what happened? He's the one who tried to give my wife an alibi for cheating on me. Oh my God, you put him in the hospital? Uh-huh. Is he gonna go to the police? I don't think so. I told him I'd bail him out eventually, and I'll do it again. I'm pretty sure he'll be smart enough. Dude, you're cold-blooded. Not really. I just want him to think twice before he decides to help her cheat again. You think she's capable of that? No. I don't trust her, but I don't think she'd do it again. One of her trusted friends got mad at her and told me everything she said. Apparently, she had a lust for him because he was so handsome, but he sucked in bed. Well, in a way, I can understand her. She had a great guy interested in her, so she took a huge risk to have a piece of the pie, and it turns out the wrapping doesn't make the gift any better. I can understand why she wouldn't take the risk again, once burned, twice shamed, so to speak. I wish it were that easy. After I kicked her out and ended our conversation that night, I cried for an hour. I just lost my temper and broke down. I have fits of anger and confusion about how she could do that to me, but then I cry again thinking about losing my kids. It's too much for me, he said tearfully. It sucks, and you don't deserve it. You're a great guy, you have a great job, and you deserve a great family life. I'm really sorry you have to deal with this kind of filth. Look, I gotta get back to work, Aaron. Sounds like you know what you're gonna do. She patted his arm, got up and walked away. Aaron took one last sip of coffee and realized she was right. He did know what he was going to do. Would you like some wine or something? Aaron asked his wife. No, I want to keep a clear head. Okay. I don't need any excuses. I know all about why you did it. What I want to know is how I can trust you in the future and how you can prove you love me. She fell to her knees and laid her head in his lap, sobbing. You have to believe that I love you. You can trust me because I realize I was wrong and I'm sorry. My dad filled my head with all his garbage. Yeah, I knew from the beginning why my parents got divorced. They didn't want you or anyone else to know, so I kept it a secret. My dad was always cheating on her. She had no attraction since menopause and didn't know about his cheating until one day he got mad at her and told her himself that he was going to go after a woman who worked. That was the end of it for her. I don't care about that. I know, but that's what planted the seed. He got away with it for years and I wanted it once. Based on the fact that he wasn't caught until he confessed, I figured I could do it once with no problem. Chris was so good with himself. That's enough. I told you I don't care about your excuses. No, I want to explain why you can trust me. Okay, go ahead, he said with dignity. I did it, and it sucked. It was awful. I realized I cheated on you for nothing. You certainly didn't do anything to justify my cheating. I know it's narcissism. I know it's on me, but I will never risk losing you again. Not until the next great coach shows interest. No. Please, I love you. I know it will take time for you to believe that and for you to trust me. But I will spend every day making it up to you if you let me. My problem, Karen, is that I still love you, but I'm angry. I don't want to lose my kids and be a weekend dad because you can't keep your legs together. Aaron, please give me a second chance. She burst into tears again, and he pulled her to him and let her cry on his chest. He was beginning to give in to emotion himself, but he pulled himself together. I'll take you back on one condition. Anything. I get revenge sex. Oh, you said anything. Okay, but please let this be the end. We'll call it even. I don't want you holding this over me. We need a fresh start. Take your time. You haven't heard the details. You have to watch. You have to feel the humiliation and anger I felt. She cried again and hugged him. She whispered, Okay. All right, come back. The kids miss you. Karen, can you ask your mom to pick up the kids tomorrow night? Karen was dreading it. Okay. Are we going out? She knew she wasn't. It had been almost a month since she'd been back, and he was still cold to her. No. Carrie's coming over tomorrow, and I'm gonna have sex. Who's Carrie? You dated her once a few years ago. She dumped me earlier, right before we met. Oh, Karen said sadly. That was the worst-case scenario for her. Now she had to worry that he was rekindling an old romance. That woman had broken his heart, and Karen had put the pieces back together, but it had taken a long time. All right, I'll take them to my mom's. Okay, I'll let Carrie know to be here at 8:00. Carrie rang the doorbell, and Aaron got Karen to open it. Karen didn't respond to Carrie's bright and cheerful greeting. This is going to be fun, Carrie told her as she closed the door. Aaron walked into the living room and gave Carrie a welcoming hug. Hi, how are you doing? Carrie asked. Good. A little nervous, to be honest. Don't be nervous. I'm going to take advantage of the gift you're giving me tonight, and I intend to turn your world upside down. Well, okay then. Would you like something to drink? White wine? You bet. Karen? Yes, please, she said quietly. They were sitting in the living room sipping drinks when Karen broke the silence. Please, can we get this over with already? Carrie raised her eyebrows and looked at Aaron. Aaron smiled and said, Okay, let's go upstairs. As Aaron led the women upstairs, Karen cried quietly. She had been dreading this day, and the realization that it would finally happen hurt her deeply. She now fully understood the pain she had caused her husband with her infidelity. Aaron pointed to a chair for Karen to sit down. As soon as she did, he began kissing Carrie. The familiar lips came back to him, and he remembered how much she enjoyed kissing. They undressed, kissing passionately. Karen sobbed as they lay on the bed and kissed. Looking at Karen, she said, You really are a stupid fool to risk losing that talent. Karen watched in disgust as her husband made love to his ex-girlfriend. Karen cried when she saw Aaron's face, a face that should have belonged only to her. Aaron, please tell me it was just one time and it's over. Please tell me I didn't lose you to her, Karen cried quietly. He smiled and said, It's over. We are even. I have no desire to continue bullying you. She hugged him and cried on his chest. She looked at him, then at Carrie, who was watching them lying on her stomach with a smirk on her face. Karen said, You can keep that load. Get out! 2 months later, Carrie was running on the treadmill when she saw Chris walk up to her. He smiled and said, Hey, pretty lady, can I buy you a smoothie? Carrie stepped off the treadmill and looked Chris straight in the eye, hitting his crotch with her knee as hard as she could. As Chris lay on the floor squirming in pain, she kicked him twice more and said, That's for married women, asshole. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to avenge Aaron and Karen. She spat at him as she walked past and smiled at the group of ladies who witnessed her actions. Stupid predator! The end. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you.